Oh, that's Shedeur?
Shedeur probably will be the quarterback of the future, but we won't know until Deshaun plays this season and things aren't going well. That'll be the only time Shedeur unseats him as a starting quarterback.
Is Deshaun Watson better than Shedeur Sanders?
He used to be.
What would have changed that?
The 5-year span that happened.
And the injuries, yeah, that all plays a factor. You don't play football for a while, you lose that momentum that you had. They're trying to recreate it, but you never know if you can get it back.
The Cleveland Browns are heading toward one of the most uncomfortable quarterback debates the franchise has had in years. And the craziest part is that one side of the argument is built on what a player used to be, while the other side is built almost entirely on projection. That's what makes the Deshaun Watson versus Shedeur Sanders conversation so explosive right now. One quarterback has already played at an elite NFL level before. The other quarterback hasn't taken a single NFL snap yet, but already has a massive fan base, huge expectations, and people begging for him to become the future of the franchise. And now that Browns OTAs have started, this debate has officially become unavoidable. Because right now, the Browns are trying to balance two completely different timelines. On one side, they're trying to salvage the massive investment they made in Watson. On the other side, they're trying to figure out if Shedeur Sanders can eventually become the answer they've desperately been searching for. And when former NFL players like LeSean McCoy start saying they're hearing Watson already looks like QB1 inside the building, it immediately creates tension around the younger quarterbacks in that room.
Who's the better quarterback? Deshaun Watson is the better quarterback.
Well, once upon a time he was.
Right now. We've seen Shedeur throw 10 interceptions.
Shedeur made some bad decisions last year, no doubt. But I can't put all of that on Shedeur. You can't just look at the numbers and not look at the tape and say, all right, this ball was tipped. The guy ran the wrong route. The guy cut the route early.
Who gets the interception?
True.
And it ain't like you're the perfect quarterback. That's his dad's energy that's been following him.
This is no longer just about talent. It's about pressure, money, reputation, and the future direction of the organization. The reason this debate is so divided is because Browns fans are emotionally exhausted from quarterback drama. Every few years, Cleveland convinces itself the answer is finally here. Then reality hits. They went through it with Johnny Manziel. They went through it with Baker Mayfield. They went through it with veterans who were supposed to stabilize the position. Then came Watson, the move that was supposed to end all uncertainty. Instead, the conversation somehow became even more complicated. When the Browns traded for Watson, they believed they were getting one of the best quarterbacks in football. And to be fair, that belief wasn't crazy at the time. In Houston, Watson looked elite. He threw for over 4,800 yards in his final Texans season. He completed over 70% of his passes. He could create plays outside the pocket, beat defenses deep, and completely take over games. There was a point where people genuinely considered him a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. That version of Watson is the reason this debate even exists today.
What would be the best route for the Browns to take?
Start Shedeur Sanders. Don't let Deshaun Watson see the field, period. Full stop. Don't care. That would be the way to, you need to Deshaun is gone after this year. What good do you have by playing him this year?
Because if the Browns still believe that player is somewhere inside him, they're not walking away easily. NFL teams don't give up on elite-level talent quickly, especially after investing draft picks, guaranteed money, and their entire reputation into the move. So when people ask whether Watson or Shedeur Sanders is better right now, the answer becomes complicated depending on which version of Watson you're talking about. If we're talking about peak Watson in Houston, then this debate honestly isn't close. Watson at his best was a proven NFL star. Shedeur Sanders hasn't played an NFL snap yet. That matters. People love upside in football, but proven production still carries enormous weight inside organizations. Coaches trust experience because experience usually wins games faster than potential. But if we're talking about the Watson Cleveland as actually seen consistently, then suddenly the conversation changes.
The last person I seen do it was Shedeur.
Shedeur could have been better last year, absolutely. You learn from that, you adapt, and you get better. That's what's important going into year 2. And I understand what you're saying. If Deshaun Watson comes out and separate himself significantly from Shedeur in this race, then you go with him. But I think if it's close and it's back and forth, like Monken's been saying, that this is wide open, this competition, it would be more advantageous to go with Shedeur to see what you have in the future and then make a decision with your draft or the quarterback decision next year.
The Browns' version of Watson has looked rusty, inconsistent, and at times completely disconnected from the elite quarterback people remember. Injuries played a role, time away from football played a role, scheme changes played a role, but eventually excuses stopped mattering. Production matters most in this league. Browns fans were told repeatedly that Watson would return to elite form once he got comfortable. Then they were told he needed more reps. Then it became about injuries. Now it's about a new offensive system under Todd Monken. At some point, people start asking whether the old Watson is actually coming back at all. That's where Shedeur Sanders enters the conversation.
I think Shedeur has extreme capabilities. I think he can be a guy that's the future of the franchise in Cleveland. But I think this year, depending on how things go too, week 7, a lot of things happen and you have to make decisions around that mark, because if you want to make the playoffs, you have to be heading in the right direction, especially at the quarterback position by that time. So
Shedeur represents something Browns fans haven't had in a long time: mystery and hope. Nobody knows exactly what he'll become at the NFL level yet, and because of that, fans naturally project greatness onto him. We've seen this cycle before in Cleveland. Fans always fall in love with the unknown quarterback because the unknown still carries possibility. Once quarterbacks start failing publicly, fans move emotionally toward the next option. And Shedeur isn't just another random rookie either. Shedeur Sanders comes into the league with massive attention already attached to his name. At Colorado, he showed toughness, accuracy, composure under pressure, and confidence that teammates clearly responded to. Despite playing behind an offensive line that constantly struggled, he stayed poised and put up impressive numbers consistently. That is why Browns fans already want to see him get opportunities immediately. The energy around him is real, and it is only growing louder every single week. But there is a major difference between college confidence and NFL readiness. This is where young players usually make a mistake. They believe talent alone is enough to win jobs at the professional level. Defensive disguises are faster, windows close quicker. Coaches demand precision with protections and adjustments before the ball is even snapped. That is why veteran quarterbacks dominate early offseason practices. Experience matters heavily during OTAs because coaches are evaluating understanding just as much as arm talent. And right now, Watson has a significant advantage in that department. And that is exactly why LeSean McCoy's comments exploded across the internet. He said players inside the Browns organization are telling him Watson is rolling right now and is expected to start. That sounded less like speculation and more like real information leaking from inside the building. Suddenly, Browns fans started wondering whether this competition was truly open at all, or whether the outcome was already leaning in one direction before training camp even begins. Todd Monken keeps insisting nobody has won the job yet, but fans also understand how NFL organizations operate. Coaches say competition all the time, while already leaning toward a veteran internally. Here's the part nobody is talking about. Many Browns fans are not just comparing quarterbacks, they are comparing timelines. Watson represents Cleveland trying to justify the past. Shedeur represents Cleveland trying to escape it. Some fans desperately want Watson to succeed because failure confirms the biggest organizational gamble in franchise history completely backfired. Others are emotionally done and want to move towards Shedeur immediately because they simply cannot invest any more hope into the Watson era. That divide is real, and it is getting wider by the day. This is where it gets dangerous, because once fan bases emotionally attached to quarterback narratives, logic starts disappearing. Every rep becomes exaggerated, every report becomes ammunition, every practice clip gets dissected like it determines the entire future of the franchise. And the Browns created this environment themselves. When you trade massive assets and hand a quarterback a fully guaranteed contract worth $230 million, the scrutiny never stops. That pressure affects everything around the quarterback room, whether the coaching staff wants it to or not. There is no escape from it at this point. What makes Shedeur so fascinating is that he does not carry the same emotional baggage Watson does. Fans see possibility. They see charisma, confidence, youth, and upside. He has not disappointed Cleveland yet because he hasn't had the full opportunity to. Meanwhile, Watson is constantly fighting his own reputation. Every mistake gets magnified because expectations remain impossibly high. Browns fans do not evaluate Watson like a normal quarterback. They evaluate him against the contract, the trade, and everything he was supposed to become in Cleveland. That is an impossible standard to escape until he wins consistently. Shedeur absolutely has traits worth believing in. His toughness stands out immediately. So does his accuracy and rhythm and his ability to handle pressure emotionally. He is also clearly confident enough to handle the media attention that comes with playing quarterback in Cleveland. But NFL success still requires adaptation. The league exposes quarterbacks fast if they are not mentally ready. That is why many coaches prefer veterans early unless a rookie forces their hand completely. So now the real question is simple. Do you keep betting on proven talent hoping the old version returns? Or do you move toward youth before more time gets wasted? There is risk either way. If Cleveland starts Watson and he struggles again, fans will demand Shedeur immediately. If they rush Shedeur too early and he struggles, they risk damaging his confidence before he's fully ready. But whichever direction Cleveland ultimately chooses, one thing is absolutely clear. That decision could define this franchise for years, and right now, it feels closer than anybody expected.